Hey everyone! So it is day 5 of Contemporary-a-Thon and it is currently 1:55 p.m. I've been up for a little while now just doing things around the house. I had to run to town, so with that I decided to go ahead and start my next audiobook. I chose Keepsake by Serena Bowen. I am so excited to read this book. This is, I don't know if it's the 3rd or the 4th book in the True North series by her, but it is one of my favorite romance series. I love her book so much, and I am enjoying it so much. I'm currently about an hour and 50 minutes in. I've got 8 hours and like some odd minutes left, so I'm really excited to keep continuing on with this story. I did not read any more of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo last night. Instead, I edited my vlog and kind of went to bed, so hopefully I can finish one of these 2 today. I'm really enjoying this audiobook, so I think I'm probably going to continue on with it today, and maybe I can finish it. We'll see how that goes. I will give you guys another update in a little bit, but I just wanted to, I got in a package today from Books A Million. I do know what it is, but I just thought it would be fun to open it with you guys. I already ripped off the top, so please excuse my kid. She is playing with a toy. But it is Jet by J. Crownover. So one of my friends kindly pointed out to me that the book that I chose for Orange on the Cover, Rowdy, is actually like the 5th book in the Marked Men series by J. Crownover, and I realized I don't even have book 2. I've only read book 1, so I went ahead and ordered Jet online. It was like $2 through Books A Million, so now I have it and I can read it eventually. I'm going to a signing in a couple of months and J. Crownover is going to be there, so I figured at the very least I can at least get it signed. So now I have this, and with that I'm going to continue listening to my audiobook and just clean up around my house and kind of keep up with my kid. So hopefully I can finish a book today. We will see. I'm pretty sure I can at the very least make it through this audiobook, so we will see how it goes. But I will give you guys an update in a little bit, and I hope everybody is enjoying Contemporary-a-Thon. Alright, so it is currently 8:02 p.m. and I finished about an hour ago. I finished Keepsake by Serena Bowen. This is the 3rd book in the True North series. It follows Zachariah, who you do meet in the very first book, titled Bittersweet by Serena Bowen, and Lark, who is a new character coming in. I loved this book. I listened to it on audiobook via Hoopla. It was amazing. I'm so glad I read it. I love this series. I think it's probably one of my favorite romance series. I enjoy the book so much. All of them just blow me away. This one I ended up giving 5 out of 5 stars, which is like raving reviews for me. It was so awesome. I loved the great representation in it. There was a lot of diversity and it dealt with a lot of hard topics that I feel like it was just done so well. I felt like she really put a lot of her heart and soul into writing the book, and you can kind of tell just like how the story goes, that it meant a lot to the author writing and that she tried to make it, you know, as authentic as possible, and I loved that. It follows Lark, who is suffering from PTSD after being kidnapped on a trip overseas, and of course Zachariah, who like escaped like a cult type of lifestyle and moved to Vermont 4 years ago, and it follows their love story, and I just, it was so good. I listened to it all in one day. I started it this morning, well, not even really this morning, truly this afternoon, and I finished it about an hour ago, so around 7 o'clock, and I do listen to it on double speed, so I flew through it. I loved it. It kept me entertained. I was engaged. It was really hard for me to pause it whenever I had to like put it down for a couple of minutes, so I'm really glad that I did that. That does mean that on this day 5 of Contemporary-a-Thon, I did finish another book, so that puts me at 5 for 5, which is like, I'm so blown away that I've done this well so far. I only have 2 books to finish and then I will have completed my entire TBR. I'm going to try really hard to get further in The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo tonight. This is the book I want to finish tomorrow, of course. I am over halfway done with it. I did read a little bit more of it today when I finished Keepsake. I am currently 205 pages into Evelyn Hugo. There are a total of like, I want to say 386-ish pages in this book, so I only have like, you know, give or take 180 so pages, which is, I feel like very doable for me. I'm gonna read some more tonight. It's about, like I said, only 8 o'clock, so I'll probably be up for another couple of hours. At that point, I will be able to hopefully get a little bit further in this. I've been tabbing it as I go. I really enjoyed this book. It's so good. Like, I'm just blown away. I'm blown away that I'm enjoying it this much, and it has such a, the relationship in this, the female, well, I don't want to give too much away, but there is a relationship in this book that is just like, you just want them to be happy. It's so good though. If you have not read this book, please consider picking it up. Even if you don't, if you find that like you haven't liked any of her previous books. I did not like One True Loves by her, and it almost turned me off of reading this, and I'm so glad that I listened to all the hype about it and decided to give it a try because it is so good. But with that, with it being about 8 o'clock, my husband just got home, so I'm going to probably have a couple of moments to spend with him, and then I'm going to continue reading this book and just see how far I can get tonight. I will try to give another check-in later just to kind of maybe give a final update of the night. I'm sorry that this vlog probably isn't too much fun, but it is the weekend, and that means that I'm pretty much a homebody on the weekends, which is kind of funny. But anyways, I hope that you guys are all doing well on Contemporary-a-Thon, and I will see you soon. It is now noon on day 6 of Contemporary-a-Thon. I am still reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I did not read any more last night. I think I'm getting like a cold. I'm really congested today and just don't really feel that great. So I kind of went right to bed last night. But my goal for the day is to finish The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and then I will pick up my next book to make the 7 books to meet the 7 challenges, all with just a single book. So hopefully I can do that today. I will give you guys another update here in a little bit. I'm gonna kind of just hang out and then finish the little bit that I have left of Evelyn Hugo. I think I have like 100 and some odd pages left to go, so I will see you soon. Alright, so I am back with another update. It's about 6:30 in the evening, and I finished The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This is just like, I don't even know. I feel like you could talk about this book for such a long time and still not even like talk about all that there is that happens in this book. There's just so many things that are covered. There's so much diversity in all sorts of different ways with biracial characters, male-male romances, female-female romances. It just, there's so much stuff that's covered, and it is wonderful. I feel like the author, Taylor Jenkins Reid, really went out of her way to make it authentic and just wholesome, and it was so good. Like, if you haven't read this book, or if you've been like debating if you want to read this book, please do yourself a favor and pick it up and read it, because I feel like I listened to like a lot of reviews on this book, and everybody, you know, of course, fangirls about it. The hype is real, and I feel like though, even having listened to like all those people talk about this book, there's still so much more in it that happened than I was aware of. That's so good. Like, I tabbed the heck out of this book. There were so many moments where I was just like, this is such great, just like life advice and great points to think about. The author gives you so much to consider, and I read it, that I did it because I didn't like the previous book of Taylor Jenkins Reid's that I had read, and I'm so glad that I read this book. Just, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, hands down, one of my favorite books I've read so far this year. I kind of want to reread parts of it again that were just so good. The romance in it, the main romance was so good. Excuse my kid, she's eating her gummies, but it's so good. And people, the thing I like about the most about this book is like when you talk about, you know, dimensional characters, I feel like all of the characters in this book had multiple sides to them, multiple facets that are, you know, fleshed out. So good. I'm so glad I read this, and I'm so happy. I can say I finished it. Definitely fits it for the 5-star. One of my friends kindly pointed this out to me, but Rowdy by J. Crownover, the book that I was planning on reading to meet the requirement of read a book with orange in the cover, is actually like the 5th or 6th book in a series. So instead I will be reading Sweet Filthy Boy by Christina Lauren. I know absolutely nothing about this. It sounds like it's a one-night stand that turns into something more, and I think it's just like a romance book, and I'm so excited to read this. After reading like the last couple of books that I've read with Evelyn Hugo and All the Ugly and Wonderful Things, I feel like I need like just like a good wholesome romance to read, so Christina Lauren, they usually deliver on like the smutty read, and I know this is one of their earlier works, so I'm excited to read it. It's a little bit longer than I thought it was though. It's 382 pages, so I'm gonna start it tonight so that I can make sure I can finish it tomorrow so that I can meet the 7 reads in the 7 days, and I'm so excited about this. I think I'm gonna give myself just a little bit of a break tonight though. I might take like a little bit of a rest, maybe watch some Netflix and then start this so that I don't have to, so that I kind of just like have like a palate cleanser after reading Evelyn Hugo, which I love so much. So I just want to be able to go into this book with a fresh set of eyes. So I'm going to take a little break, watch a little Netflix, and then come back to this and start it tonight and just kind of see how far I can get. And then tomorrow I should be able to finish it. I did save the audiobook on Hoopla. Since I listen on double speed, it would be like a 5-hour audiobook, which is, I did that in one day the other day with listening to Keepsake by Serena Bowen. So I know I can do that at the very least if I have problems like reading this physically, just because it is the weekend, my husband is working, and therefore I am all hands on deck with my kiddo, which is wonderful. It's not a problem, but it does sometimes make physically reading a book a little bit harder. So since I listen on double speed, it would be like a 5-hour audiobook, which is, I did that in one day the other day with listening to Keepsake by Serena Bowen. So I know I can do that at the very least if I have problems like reading this physically, just because it is the weekend, my husband is working, and therefore I am all hands on deck with my kiddo, which is wonderful. It's not a problem, but it does sometimes make physically reading a book a little bit harder. So I'm gonna go ahead. Come on, sit down right here. So I'm gonna go do that, and I will give you guys an update here in a little bit. I'm sorry that this vlog hasn't been much fun this weekend. My weekends are pretty boring, so, but I will see you all soon. Hello, it is the end of day 6 of Contemporary-a-Thon. I just took a quick bath, so my hair's still a little wet, but I'm getting ready to settle down for the night. I did read some of Sweet Filthy Boy by Christina Lauren. This is my last book I have to read the 7 books. I know my TBR changed a little bit, but it really, I mean, really this was the only real change to my TBR, which is nice because I'm like infamous for not sticking to a TBR, so I'm really proud of myself. Like, pat on the back self, I did good this time. I am actually exactly 50 pages into this book. I still have quite a ways to go. It's like 380 some odd pages, so I should be able to read it. I read this 50 pages like for the short time that I was in the bath, so I have no doubt that I will be able to finish this tomorrow because it's actually made me laugh and smile quite a bit. There's a lot of like really just like sweet fluffy humor in that, and I think I really just needed this. I'm glad I saved this book for last because I do tend to fly through like fluffy romance reads a lot quicker than like more serious reads, so I'm glad I saved this one for the last. But I will keep you guys updated tomorrow on my reading and do a wrap up at the end of that. We'll see. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's really cute, sweet. I'm curious to see where it's gonna go. It definitely, I didn't know, but it's like accidental marriage, and that's like one of my favorite tropes. So we'll see how this goes, and I will see you guys soon in another vlog.